Hey Raiders fans, welcome back to the channel if you're new here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and smash the like to stay locked in. With everything Raiders related, we've got some exciting stuff coming your way today, especially with training camp kicking off and a bunch of fresh updates you won't want to miss. Whether you're a die-hard silver and black supporter or just starting to follow the team, this video is packed with insights about the veterans reporting to camp, key players to watch, and some of the hottest positional battles that are going to define this season, so let's jump right into it. As of today, the veterans are officially reporting to training camp. Now, if you weren't aware of this, it's a big deal. This is when things really start to heat up for the Raiders. The rookies have already been in camp since July 17th, grinding through their early practices and learning the ropes, but today marks the arrival of the seasoned players who bring experience and leadership to the team. This is when the energy on the field starts to buzz. It's the moment everyone waits for, because tomorrow we get the first padded practices, where you really see the players in action, hitting hard running routes and executing drills with full intensity. Today's reporting day is mostly about the players getting through their physicals, checking in with the medical staff, and taking care of all the administrative stuff. It might not seem flashy, but it's crucial. These steps ensure everyone is healthy and ready to push through what is always a demanding camp schedule. After all, football isn't just about talent. It's about preparation, conditioning, and staying healthy through one of the toughest parts of the year. Once those physicals are cleared, the players can start focusing on football itself. And the first padded practice tomorrow, that's when the fun really begins. For those of you who've been following the offseason, you know that Pete Carroll, the head coach, and John Spy, the defensive coordinator, have been really focused on building a team that competes hard but also enjoys the process. During OTA letters and mini camps, the vibe around the team has been one of energy and positivity. The players have been encouraged to compete fiercely on the field, but also to bond as a unit. Chemistry is a big part of a successful season, and the silver and black seem to be on track to have that this year. I'm honestly excited to watch how this team gels when the pads come on and the hits start flying. Because the Raiders haven't just been training. They've been building a culture of toughness and togetherness. Now, before we dive deeper, I want to throw a question out to you guys watching. How many Raiders training camp practices have you been to? And if you want to earn some bonus points, tell me the year you went. For me, last season was memorable. I got to attend a joint practice at Allegiant Stadium on August 14th with David Z. Taino Raider. And honestly, it was one of the most fun experiences I've had. The atmosphere was electric, the fans were passionate, and watching the players up close really gave me a new appreciation for what they go through. If you've never been to training camp before, I highly recommend trying to make it at least once. There's nothing like seeing the silver and black in person, feeling the intensity, and soaking in the Raider Nation spirit. Hopefully I'll get the chance to do it again this year, and maybe I'll see some of you there, all right. So since the veterans just arrived, I thought it would be the perfect time to break down my personal top 10 veterans I'm keeping an eye on this season. Now, these aren't just random names. These are guys who could have a major impact on the team, either by stepping up their game, bouncing back from injury, or solidifying their roles in a competitive roster. You might have your own list, and that's cool. This isn't about disagreement, but I want to highlight some players who I think could be key figures in the Raiders' push this year. The countdown will go from number 10 down to number 1, the guy I'm most excited about watching during training camp. Starting at number 10, Malcolm Koonce. If you remember, Koonce had a rough 2023 after suffering an ACL injury that sidelined him for the entire season. That was a big blow for the Raiders and fans alike, because when healthy, Koonce is a disruptive force on the defensive line. He signed a one-year $12 million deal to return, and that shows the team's belief in his potential. If he can bounce back and replicate or improve on his performance from the final 9 games he played in 2023, he's going to be a major factor on the defensive front. His speed, power, and ability to pressure quarterbacks could really elevate the defense. So I'll be watching him closely to see how he recovers physically and mentally from the injury, and if he can regain that edge. Coming in at number 9, Jermaine Pratt. The Raiders brought him in mid-June right after minicamp to shore up a linebacker position that's been a bit shaky. The team parted ways with Landon Roberts, so there's a vacancy to fill. Pratt, along with Landon Roberts, forms a linebacker duo that could redefine the defense's middle. Pratt has a reputation for solid tackling and good instincts, and I want to see how he fits into Pete Carroll's defensive scheme. He's relatively new to the team, so training camp will be important for him to prove he can be a consistent presence. How he meshes with Landon Roberts and the rest of the linebackers will be crucial. For the defensive success, at number 8, we have Alex Cappa, John Spy Guy. The Raiders signed him early in the offseason and he's mostly been working at right guard. From what I hear, Cappa is being positioned as the likely starter at right guard, but I'm not convinced that job is locked down. There's still a lot of competition in that area. Jordan Meredith, Aaron Munford, and Dylan Parham are all battling for guard spots. And I think that's a great thing. You want players to compete, especially in the trenches, because the offensive line is where games are won and lost. It's still an open question whether Cappa is the best option or if someone else can push him out. I'll be watching the guard battles carefully because the Raiders need a strong and reliable line to protect the quarterback in open running lanes. Number 7 is Ja'Cory Bennett. Entering his 3rd year in the NFL, Bennett took a big step forward last season after struggling as a rookie. In fact, some analysts have argued that he outperformed Nate Hobbs and Jack Jones last season. That's saying a lot, especially given the depth the Raiders have had at cornerback. Bennett has been working as a backup behind Eric Stokes and Darian Porter. But if he can recapture the form he showed in the first few games last year, this cornerback room could be a lot stronger than we expect. Bennett was dealing with shoulder injuries last season that affected his playtime, but he's reported to be feeling much healthier now. Watching his progress this camp will be telling for the secondary. Jeremy Chinn takes the number 6 spot. The Raiders brought this strong safety in to add some much-needed physicality and leadership on defense. When I think of Chinn, I think of a player like Cam Chancellor, someone who brings that bam-bam physical presence, can play linebacker in a pinch, and commands respect on the field. With Landon Roberts and Jermaine Pratt also in the mix, Chinn might be the player who ultimately takes over as the defensive captain under Patrick Graham's system. He's expected to be a major influence on that side of the ball. His versatility and leadership qualities make him a key player to watch as the defense looks to improve in 2025. At number 5, we switch over to the offensive side of the ball with Michael Mayer, the tight end. This offseason, Mayer's name has come up a lot, and for good reason. The Raiders are trying to figure out how to build an offense that can dominate on the ground, but also open up the passing game with dynamic tight ends. Brock Bowers is another talented tight end, but Mayer needs to take that next step, especially in his blocking and overall impact. When the Raiders drafted Mayer in the 2nd round, the hope was that he'd develop into a key offensive weapon. His success this year could be the difference maker for the offense, especially if the line improves and wide receivers start to click with Geno Smith. Mayer's development is one of the most intriguing storylines of training camp. Number 4 is Eric Stokes, a cornerback signed to a 1-year $4 million deal. There's a lot of buzz around Stokes as potentially the number 1 cornerback for the Raiders. He's expected to start alongside Darian Porter, and the pair could form the backbone of a revamped secondary. Stokes has the speed and skills to cover top receivers, and his experience should be a big plus. Watching how he performs in camp, especially against other corners like Ja'Cory Bennett, will be crucial. If Stokes lives up to expectations, the Raiders' secondary could finally become a strength rather than a liability. At number 3, Tyree Wilson. This one is a make-or-break year for him. Wilson has all the physical tools you want on the defensive line, but the past few seasons have been inconsistent at best. He's healthy now and reportedly understands his role better than ever before. The new coaching staff, including Pete Carroll, should help him find his niche and compete hard. Wilson's position flexibility, whether he lines up as a defensive tackle or defensive end, will be tested in camp. He needs to show that he can produce consistently to stick around long term. His progress could be a game changer for the Raiders. Defense depth. At number 2, Kyseian Nixon. The Raiders' star cornerback has been a fan favorite since his breakout performances. Nixon is known for his ball skills, tackling, and overall football IQ. He's not just a shutdown corner, but also a leader on defense. This season, one expect him to raise his game even higher, especially with the new defensive look. Under Patrick Graham, Nixon's ability to force turnovers and make game-changing plays could be the difference in close contests. His training camp performance will be key in setting the tone for the secondary. And finally, at number 1, Gabe Holmes. I know some of you might be surprised by this choice, but hear me out. Holmes has been around the league a bit, but has never had a chance to shine fully. This training camp, he's showing up with determination and grit. He's versatile, can play multiple tight end roles, and is rumored to have earned the coach's trust in practice sessions. Holmes' experience and physical style could be just what the Raiders need to add toughness and reliability to the offense. If he can capitalize on this opportunity, he could become an unsung hero of the season. That's my top 10 veterans to watch heading into this training camp. Of course, there are plenty of other players worth mentioning, but these guys stood out to me as the ones with the most potential impact. It's going to be fascinating to watch how they perform in the first padded practices and through the preseason games. So as the veterans settle in and the rookies continue to push hard, I want to hear from you who are your top players to watch this camp. Which position battles do you think will be the most exciting? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. We'll be bringing you regular updates, highlights, and analysis all through training camp and the upcoming season. Now that we've talked about the veterans arriving and my top 10 players to watch, it's time to shift focus to the rookies and the key battles that are shaping up across the roster. Training camp isn't just about veterans stepping up, it's also the proving ground for rookies and younger players trying to make a name for themselves. This year, the Raiders have a pretty exciting rookie class, and some of those newcomers are going to push hard for playing time right away. The rookies have already been grinding since July 17th, and now with the veterans here, the competition is about to get real intense. One of the biggest rookie stories has to be about the wide receiver group. The Raiders made some interesting moves in the draft and free agency, and that means the receiver room is loaded with talent, but also crowded. The veterans are locked in, but the young guys have something to prove. When you have competition like this, it pushes everyone to improve, and that's exactly what the Raiders want. Players like the rookie wide receivers and the younger backups are going to have to show they can run crisp routes, catch consistently, and most importantly, contribute on special teams. That's often the fastest way for rookies to get noticed in camp. The ability to make plays in multiple areas can be the difference between a roster spot and being on the practice squad. Speaking of special teams, it's worth mentioning how important that phase of the game is to the Raiders this year. The coaching staff has stressed repeatedly that special teams will be a major focus in training camp. With a solid special teams unit, the Raiders can control field position, generate momentum-changing plays, and even swing the outcome of tight games. So keep an eye on the rookies, who are making a mark in kickoff coverage, punt return units, and blocking assignments. Sometimes those unsung heroes become key contributors once the season kicks off. The battle for the backup quarterback position is another storyline to watch closely. With Geno Smith firmly in the starting spot, the Raiders brought in a couple of candidates to challenge for the second-string job. Training camp will be where they get evaluated not just on throwing accuracy or arm strength, but on decision-making, leadership, and how well they learn the playbook. The coaching staff wants someone who can step in and keep the offense moving if Smith goes down or needs a breather. This quarterback competition is a subtle but crucial piece of the puzzle for the Raiders. It might not get as much spotlight as the starters, but it's incredibly important. On the defensive side, the defensive line is a key area to watch for rookies and young players making an impression. The Raiders are looking to add depth and get some fresh energy rushing the passer. The veterans are solid, but the younger guys are hungry to prove they belong. It's all about who can get off the line quickly, set the edge against the run, and create pressure in the backfield. Defensive line rotations will be a big part of the season, and the competition in camp will help the coaches figure out who deserves those snaps. It's a position where effort and technique often matter as much as raw talent, and that makes training camp an exciting place to watch players develop. Linebacker is another position where the Raiders have made some moves this offseason, bringing in players like Jermaine Pratt, as we talked about earlier. But the battle doesn't end there. There are several younger linebackers pushing for roles on special teams and defensive packages. Their ability to tackle reliably, read offenses, and cover tight ends or running backs will be closely scrutinized. The linebacker group is critical to the defense's success because they have to be versatile and communicate effectively. Training camp reps will be invaluable for these guys to show they can handle those responsibilities. The offensive line, as always, is a position group under the microscope during camp. The Raiders have some established starters, but the backups and fringe players know this is their chance to make a statement. We've seen injuries shake up the offensive line in past seasons, so depth is more important than ever. The coaches will be looking for guys who can step in without a drop-off in performance. In particular, the competition at the guard spots looks fierce, and the outcome of those battles will go a long way in determining how solid the Raiders' protection will be this year. Remember, a strong offensive line means more time for the quarterback to throw and better running lanes for the backs. It's one of the most important battles of camp and could define the offense's success. Running back depth is another storyline to keep an eye on. The Raiders have a clear starter, but beyond that there's competition for the backup roles. The running backs have to prove they can do more than just run the ball. They need to catch passes out of the backfield, block and pass protection, and contribute on special teams. Versatility is key. Training camp is the perfect time for these players to showcase their all-around skills and make a case for why they deserve a spot on the roster. Sometimes the guy who does a little bit of everything ends up having a big role during the season, especially in passing situations or third downs. Special mention has to go to the tight end position as well, with Michael Mayer and Gabe Holmes both in the mix. Plus, other young players pushing this group has a lot of potential. Tight ends in the Raiders' offense are expected to block, catch, and run routes with precision. The coaching staff wants to see tight ends who can be matchup nightmares for defenses. Training camp will help determine which tight ends earn more snaps and how they'll be used in various offensive packages. Their ability to work in sync with the offensive line and the quarterback will be a major focus. Something else to highlight is how the Raiders are incorporating new technology and analytics into their training camp this year. The coaching staff has talked about using data to track player movements, monitor fatigue, and analyze performance in real time. This allows them to tailor practices, avoid injuries, and maximize player development. For fans, this means we might get even better insights into how players are performing and which matchups are working well on the field. It's a modern approach that could give the Raiders an edge in a league where every detail counts. Lastly, the culture around the Raiders is something that's really been buzzing this offseason. Pete Carroll and his staff have emphasized building a strong team culture focused on resilience, accountability, and unity. They want every player to feel like part of the Raider family. Whether a rookie or a veteran, this cultural focus shows up in practice meetings and community events. It helps the team stay connected through tough times and celebrate the wins together. Training camp is as much about building this culture as it is about physical preparation, and that's what makes it special. So as we move forward through camp, keep your eyes on the rookies making waves, the battles shaping the roster, and the overall vibe of this Raiders team. There's a real sense that something special is brewing, and this camp will be the first glimpse of what we can expect when the season kicks off. The energy is contagious, the competition is fierce, and the silver and black are ready to fight for every inch. Stay tuned for more updates and deep dives as we follow the team through the highs and lows of training camp. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy, drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are growing louder in the NFL corridors as rumors circulate about a potential shakeup involving one of the Las Vegas Raiders' key players, quarterback Geno Smith. Sources close to the team suggest that Smith has reportedly requested an immediate exit, allegedly due to growing dissatisfaction with the Raiders' president. While nothing has been officially confirmed, the murmurs have already sparked a wave of speculation among fans and analysts alike.